You always
I
need a.
understand that you need that for like board and directors and such.
No, that's not really the main reason. The main reason is that
Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
the main reason that we're building both private and both public and private or movement-based networking systems. So as part of our anti-corruption campaigns, like 99.9% of corruption happens in secret and in private
Oh,
professions, right? Corporate
right.
lobbying stuff. So we're trying to build new models of decision making and communications where things are documented and recorded, kind of like a blockchain where it's like you block all the decisions and communications and documentation. So you have this continuity of verifiable data and everything's based on verification instead of just believing what people say. We don't actually like our policies are against just believing what people say and everything's supposed to be verified. Our one of our slogans is we double, triple, and quadruple check everything and then verify. Right.
Okay.
So it's we want to actually build things based on verifiable information.
More open data.
Yes, exactly. Open information, open communications and all. So, but we're also support private and secret projects because there's just a lot of, I mean, 99.9% of people do not want to be recorded and do not want to have all of their, decision-making documentations public, right? So we
Right.
also support private projects and secret projects, but it's just a matter of the semantics and understanding um, the types of decisions. So the bigger the project, like if you want to change how decisions are made that affect 8 billion people on the planet and trillions of animals, then maybe that should be a little bit more transparent and public, right? Whereas if you just want to, work on a neighborhood garden that affects 100 people, like maybe it's not as big of a deal to have it be public and transparent. Yeah?
Right.
So, anything else on topic 4 for more questions?
No.
Okay. So we can get into the budget. Let's make sure your proposal is organized and correct. So we'll do proposal. So this would be for just do the recruitment hire for now, and this is for Bethany as a HR board decision maker. So I'm sort of organizing this based on your goal. So the initial is the pay goal. So your pay goal is $15 an hour and up to 7.5 hours per
Time
week
to stretch.
a
Please
month.
stop. Stand up and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
You get $112.50. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the jurisdiction. When we like to do the pay goal, to be clear that it's like $0 because if people don't do the work, they shouldn't expect to get paid. And then the hourly rate. So hourly rate goal is equal to $15 per hour. So that's correct.
Yes.
$15 per hour. So I can't remember if you were $6 or of 6 hours a month or 7.5 hours a month or 7.
I know we've talked both. I think is 6, but it could work up to 7.5.
Yeah, you can always change it. It doesn't really matter, but the idea is just kind of have a general idea of your commitment and your time. The main difference is helping out with the actual sessions and coming to sessions once a month. A lot of board members don't come to sessions, and then also helping out with the deadlines and HR policies. So a lot of people just don't do that. So
Okay.
yeah. But anyways, I mean, we approve everybody for the 7.5 hours, but then we have a time budget. So you'll see how that works in the budget when we get there. So
Okay.
um, Kansas City. Why can't I not spell it? Kansas City. So let's get your get your jurisdiction real quick. Huh. Is it just Kansas? Kansas City? No.
No, there's Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas
Oh,
City,
so
Kansas.
this is Missouri?
Yeah, I'm actually not near Kansas City, but I just did like the next biggest city.
Yeah, that's fine. It's like the area that you live in, more or less, you know?
And it's like 2 hours away.
Yeah, I mean, we use livingcost.org, so I can show you the website. So if your city does come up on it, you know, we can use whatever comes up in livingcost.org. So I'll link this here on line 23, column F, topic 5. So Martins, do you have the link to the HR board top?
Pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Let me check my notes and get back to you.
Yeah. You need to get organized on that. So this is Kansas City, Missouri, and this is going to be 2121 is the individual jurisdiction, and then family jurisdiction is 5,385. So your jurisdiction is sort of the foundation to your core ownership value in the cooperative, right? So we're a worker-owned cooperative, and so you have your $15 an hour goal pay rate for your upfront pay, but then in the core global value of your token ownership in the cooperative is based on your jurisdiction. Okay, that makes sense?
Yes.
But they both are related. So the main way that we model everything is everything's based on deliverables, and then the goal is to build deliverable pools as big as possible. So if you spend 15 minutes voting, you would multiply the 15 minutes times your $15 an hour to get $3.75, right? So the idea is you spend an hour voting and communicating all that, then you would get $15, right? So the idea is that we want to have as much money available for the deliverables and the work as possible. But if we have a $300 budget pool and you vote and you spend 5 minutes voting, you shouldn't get $300, right? We want everything
Right.
to be fun, because otherwise we can't have a budget pool. I mean, a deliverables pool of $300, right? So we want the deliverable pool to be as big as possible, so we can pay people the most money possible based on their goal pay. So hopefully that's all. So from here, your schedule would be, work on the HR board, decision maker, which would be the 6 hours per month. So that's all good. And if you actually have a token, well, I guess we just do the tokens internally for now. So we're just gonna leave that blank. Agree to publicly searchable communications. We've done that. And the time estimated so far. How much time have you put in so far?
Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
I've done the recruitment and then I've done this interview. So I think, yeah. And then I've been checking the messages as they happen. But
So
just more for
1 hour,
familiarity.
hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, it's not.
1 hour.
1 hour. Cool. Awesome. So far you've done your interview, which is a $2 deliverable, and it might be a $4 deliverable for the HR board vote. We can double check that. And then, have you done your And you also did your bio, right? Your bio and picture, right? So that's
Yes.
also a deliverable. So we can double check what the value is um, of the deliverables on job posting. So in the context of everything, if that proposal looks good, then that's what we're approving for now. And then the next step is making sure your POP is good. Did you find the HR board POP?
I can't find it.
Can you create one, like a new one?
Okay, no problem. I'll do that now.
Okay, cool. All right, so here's the HR board. We talked about this earlier, the HR board deliverables, and it is $2. All right, so the deliverables for the recruitment are only $2 for the HR board, just to keep everything the same
Okay.
between the workers and the HR board, but we could consider changing that. So far it's only $4 total, but okay, here's $2 and $2. Cool. Awesome. So the question is if you want to do your own POP or not. But anyways, you can see here the HR board oversight deliverables. $6 for voting, $6 for attending work sessions, $6 to review the recruitment needs, $6 to complete the official HR policy review process, $6 for the support, mediation, and contention process, $6 to review deadline. So this is some of the examples, and that adds up to $36. So if we want to get up to like $100, we need to add more deliverables and increase the value of the deliverables by having the workers do more work. So the more work the workers do, the more money that comes into the organization, the more money available for the HR board. So that is certainly going to be a key goal for people in the United States who
Time to
want
pause. Please
money.
stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So I would say at this time we can easily value the HR board monthly work around $50. And so if we're trying to double that to $100, there is going to be some effort that needs to be made to actually get us functional and getting our workers doing the client work income to bring in the money. So it's good to note that. And that's always difficult for people in the United States because we obviously want to make a lot more money than people in other places of the world. So it's just like we have to have more income. That makes sense?
Right. No, yeah, that does make sense.
So, and then here we have the deliverables for the recruitment process. So I think that's it on the proposal. And then from there, we would just add you to the budget. So you're welcome to get involved in the budget work, but you certainly don't have to. But from here, oh, we do need to do your POP. So if you want to work on your POP, you can.
Okay.
And that's up to you if you want to do the POP. Otherwise, we can do it for you right now. It wouldn't take very long. So that's just up to you to decide if you want to
I
do
will
the
do
POP.
the pop. That way I understand it from
Okay.
start to finish.
So do you have the link to the POP instruction?
I'm gonna say no, just to be on the safe side. I bet you I do, but
Yeah, we can get it for you. So we're looking for stage 3. So this link to stage 3 is here we go. Stage 3. So I'll put that on line 50. Okay, so stage 3 is linked on line 50, topic 5. And then in stage 3, this you're gonna go to the another thing. Okay, when you look at stage 3, this is organized the same way that we organize all of our training. So all of our training for all of our work is all based on um, what we call responsibility. So in this case, it's responsibility 2 um, is setting up your POP.
okay.
Okay, so what we need to do here is make a few updates. Oh, this is only comment only. I hate that. We have to fix stage 3. This is a huge problem that we can't edit stage 3, and we don't know who owns this document. So this is part of our documentations and our recruitment to get everything organized.
Time to take a break. Please stop, write down whatever you were about to say, and take a break for 6 minutes.
Okay, so it's time for another break. So Martine, did you create the new POP for the HR board?
Yeah, you can see it on line 56.
Perfect. Okay, so when you go to the responsibility 2 for the POP, instead of using the link here for the team POP, you're going to go to the link in line 56. Okay,
Okay.
does that make sense?
Yes.
But the instructions are basically the same. You just duplicate the template, you put all your information in, and then you just get it confirmed. And the information should basically be exactly the same information that we literally just went over with you in the recruitment proposal.
Okay.
That's line 20 to 27. The only other thing is the global jurisdiction, which is a bit of a calculation, but we can help you with that. And also you can basically just ignore that as well for
Okay.
now. I'll add it in later. And then let me also add here HR board. All right, so I'm going to take a break, and then when we come back, we can see if there's any other questions, and we can talk a little bit about the budget process, and then we'll be done.
Okay.
Okay, Daniel. What should I do? I think someone has also communicated that. And go right to the this basically recruitment, the recruitment delivery process. That's it.
End of break. Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
Okay, I am back.
Yeah. Okay. Let me communicate this to HR that they should use this as their call.
Low battery.
Okay. Any other questions? Anything else about where we are right now, or should we get into the budget? Or is Bethany getting back?
I am back.
Oh, you're back. Okay. So, any questions so far, or anything? Otherwise, we can talk a little bit about the budget, and then I think we're done at that point.
Okay.
So, as far as the budget goes, the thing to understand for the HR board is the HR board oversees
Time
for the
pause.
umbrella.
Please close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So the HR board is sort of like the umbrella and has oversight over multiple teams and multiple groups and co-ops and things like that. So there'll be multiple different budgets that can come to the HR board to vote on. So that means that like if you spend 15 minutes on one vote and spend 15 minutes on another vote, like it can all add up. It can all add up to more than the $6 because every time you vote and you work on a budget, it can be a separate proposal. Okay. So in the context of working on the budget itself, the HR board, I believe, would have its own budget as well. And that's always the first budget that we work on, or at least we're supposed to work on. So the most important thing that the HR board can do to make sure the HR board has a budget and gets paid is to refuse to approve anyone else's budget until the HR board budget has been verified and approved. It's basically the HR board comes first. Does that sort of make sense?
It does.
Yeah. So if you at this point, once you finish your POP, you're completely done with everything. You don't have to actually do anything else. But if you want to get involved in the budget process, we can send you the budget system and some processes and responsibilities for the budget, which basically include duplicating the previous budget, adding the new people in, making sure the values all add up, getting it verified. And then there's also a component of the client agreement. So the client expectations are a very important component of the budget. The HR board is not really involved in the client expectations component. So
Okay.
the HR board is required to approve the official budget every month. And obviously, HR board members could get involved in the client expectations, but the client expectations is a separate session that in a separate decision where it's about putting on the client hat and we're all agreeing that we're meeting the needs of the client in relationship to the budget and the work being done for the client, right?
Okay.
And that relates to the fact that, we don't have much savings to cover the cost of the budget. And so then if we can't get the budget work done, then we end up getting into more complicated scenarios where we have proposals to take on loans. And then the loans from the client get very complicated, and that's really foundation of the client expectations happen. So if people want to get paid more than the deliverable work that they have done, then you're talking about getting into situations where we have to approve, and then the HR board would be getting involved in this.
Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
So the HR board obviously would be involved in payments above and beyond the actual work deliverables for the client,
Okay.
right? So that's where things get more complicated. In the past, we used to do tons and tons of payments because people always wanted more and more money and they just never did the work. We still don't do the work or all the work, but now the HR board has significantly slowed down and basically stopped, and it's against policy to be proposing loans from the client. So we're supposed to be doing the work for the client and getting the work completed for the client needs. And instead, we come back to the client. We say, sorry, we didn't do the work for you, but we still want the money. Can we have a loan to get paid without doing the work? Right? So that is what happens when people want the money without completing all the work. So anyways, I'm sure we'll see that over time, but it's just kind of good to kind of understand the relationship between the budget and the payroll. Okay?
Wait. Okay.
Yeah. So no one gets paid without a budget. We're already 2 days late on the budget, which is bad, right? So, hopefully we'll start seeing budgets in the next couple days. But anyways, that's pretty much it. So if you have any other questions about the budget or if you're interested in the budget, you can just let us know either now or on Discord at any time. Otherwise, you could wait as an HR board member for the proposal, the official budget proposal to be sent to you, and then you would vote on it, and that would be your very first vote. So when you do your very first vote as an HR board member, that would be a deliverable, and then you track your time for the voting and the communication regarding the actual official budget proposal. And maybe the first time you read over it, it might take you longer than future times, So it just depends on how long it takes you to be able to document that and send us your deliverable value. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it on the budget. So any other questions? Otherwise, we can wrap up and check out.
No, I don't have any other questions.
Cool. Once we get the budget approved, you will then be going through what we call the legal responsibility. So this is stage 5. So right now you're finishing up stage 3 with your POP. So once your POP is done, you are completely done with stage 3.
Okay.
Then stage 4 is the budget. So for the budget, you actually don't have to do anything. You can just wait for someone else to do the budget for you. Okay. So then once the budget has been proposed and completed and approved,
Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So everybody will be able to vote on the budget. And there's also an allotment process that sometimes happens because we have the different teams of how much money each team gets based on the number of people and what's involved. So that might come through the voting as well. So once there's approval on the budget, then and only then can you start what we call the legal responsibility. So the legal responsibility, you've already completed some of because you did your bio. But and actually you didn't need to do your bio because you did the interview, right? So now you already, so the legal responsibility, one of the responsibilities is the bio, so you already did that. And now you also have the interview. So then the rest of the legal responsibility is like approving all the mission statements. You actually did have a question about the missions, didn't you? Or do you want to just wait until the legal responsibility on that to go
I'll
through
wait
all the
till the
missions?
legal responsibility.
Okay, so the first part of the legal responsibility is approving all the missions, and seeing if there need to be changes or anything, because everything's always interactive. And then there'll be all of the contracts and terms that are approved and signed. So the most important thing in relationship to the United States, obviously you're going to have to do a W-2 or something like that. No, W-9. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a W-9. And then you're going to have to sign a contract. And there may be one additional contract on top of the normal terms that just make it very, very clear that you're entering a partnership and that you are not an employee, right? You are a partner, you are a owner,
Okay.
right? So that's an important component, and it's more important in the United States than globally. So globally, everyone just needs to sign a contract that they're basically doing work, externally from the United States. But if you're in the United States, then you basically have to sign a contract that says that makes it extraordinarily clear that you're not an employee, that you are an owner, and that you, in this case, you're a board member and you have oversight responsibilities in the decision making. So hopefully that's all clear. We typically don't get a lot of people in the United States because most people want to get paid a lot more money,
Mm-hmm.
but there has been more interest recently in the whole cooperative models in the United States because of all the issues going on and things like that in the US and all the problems with the
Mm-hmm.
governance model. So, anyways, we're open to anyone in the United States, but people just need to understand that this global cooperative model is not to be paying people 15, 20, $30 an hour without us figuring out a way to bring in more money. So you said there might be, more resources and ideas that you have on. So if
Mm-hmm.
eventually we can bring in resources, our policy on bringing in resources, like let's say you brought in,
Time to stretch.
20,000.
Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
Ooh, yes, stretching. That's good to stretch. So our policies on money, because we're a decentralized network and it's all about empowerment. So if you go and you help bring in $20,000, that money is not controlled by anybody else in the organization. It's controlled by the people who bring the money in. So that means that you would have a vote on how that money is spent. If someone else brings in money, like let's say someone else brought in, you know, $10,000, but you weren't involved in it, you could still benefit from that money and you could get paid from it, but you don't have oversight over that money because you didn't help bring it in. Does that sort of make sense?
It does.
Yeah. So in that context, we encourage people to be involved. So it's not like a commission. No one gets commission in our model. You get power. And I think power is actually more important than commission because if we all just get little crumbs, of like
Mm-hmm.
percentages of commission, but then we have no power and then it's just all centralized power, then it's just like, you just get the same corruption. So in our model, it's decentralized. Whoever helps bring in the money has oversight of it. Do they have full control over the money? No. They still have to follow the policies and have oversight in the bigger picture. They can't make decisions that are corrupt and all that kind of stuff. We have the board of directors and all other things that oversee the programs and projects. So everything needs to be documented and clear, but it's very flexible. So anyways, hopefully that is clear on if we want to get paid our higher level goals. Like I would love to get paid $2,000, $3,000 a month, which still is not barely even like, here in California, in San Francisco Bay Area, that's still basically poverty wages,
It is.
But it's like first we have to be able to bring in more money.
Okay.
So hopefully that answers all the questions. I think we're done. So wrapping up, we could do a quick checkout. I'll give a quick example. So I would say the session we do kind of like a hyper evaluation. So I would say I put my name. I'd say, okay, the session was a 6.5. It was a good session. Got the interview done, got lots of information answered, and closer to getting our budget final. Right. So you could just do a quick little hyper evaluation in the wrap up. You can also document how much time we spent. So we started at 1. So it's been almost 2 hours. So I think you're almost, definitely more on the 2 hour level here, maybe even 3 hours in terms of your proposal. Okay. So any other questions in regards to the checkout? Do you understand the
Time
hyper
to
checkout?
pause. Please stop.
Say it.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
No, I'd say it was a 6. It felt very productive.
So definitely a 6. Productive. Cool. Excellent. All right. So I think that's it for now. Let's might see if Martine wants to check out.
Yeah, I'll be giving the section 6.2. It's a lovely session. I'm happy to experience the process of hiring a new board member for decision making. Check.
Cool. All right. I think we're done then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then yeah, just communicate with us on Discord, and then obviously once you have your pop drafted, you can send that. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
Bye bye.